Hey everybody, Matt Johnston here, back with another COVID-19 legal update. A number of the organizations that I belong to are starting to think about what's going to happen when these government shutdowns and lockdowns and things like that cease. What's going to happen when they end? And this is going to be one of the critical points of effort that small business owners in particular are going to have to deal with. So I'm starting to encourage business owners to start thinking about what is going to happen in the future. Now, I don't know when all of this stuff is going to end. If I had a crystal ball, I would be making a lot more money betting on the stock market than I do right now. So I don't have an answer for that. But I can tell you this. If you are an employer that has employees working remotely, and you go back to demanding that they be in the office 5 days a week, you're going to get some pushback. Because during this lockdown, there's going to be some demonstrable proof that working remotely can work effectively for your business. So you're going to have to start to think about some personnel policy changes that are going to be able to help you get where you want to be in terms of your employees, keeping them happy, keeping them engaged, but also allowing a little bit of flexibility in their work arrangements. So some of the policies that you're going to need to think about is how are you going to do things like tracking tasks, tracking time, tracking working time, things of that nature, but you're also going to have to start thinking about what are the arrangements we're going to have. So one of the questions that is likely to come up is going to be, how do we determine which days employees can have off? Which days can they work remotely? I don't want everybody working remotely at one time, and that's probably a good idea. But there is a great deal of benefit that comes from having employees in the office. A lot of the innovation and the ideas come from rather informal conversations. Such conversations are difficult to have when everybody is working remotely. So the pace of innovation, the pace of change, the pace of ideas would slow down if you didn't have people regularly in the office. So I'm not suggesting that everybody necessarily has to do everything differently, and I'm not suggesting that everybody has to work remotely all the time. But it is going to be worth it to say some share of employees can be off this day, some share of employees can be off, or at least not off, but off-site on other days. And if you have a large enough workforce, you might be able to mix and match and change things. But it might also be worthwhile to say, no, everybody's going to be in the office on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Or everybody's going to be in the office Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So that you can make sure you have a good group of people in the office all the time. You can also require that your employees who are working remotely be available at all times by phone or by video conference between a core set of hours of working hours. So you could say you have to be available on Zoom or on internet or by phone anytime between, say, the hours of 9:30 and 4:30 or 9:30 and 4 or whatever hours work for your business. The reason why I say that is that the next thing that's going to come up is going to be some sort of flexibility to allow for things like personal time during these days working from home. Because the time that people are working from home is an ideal time for them to be able to do things like go to the doctor, take care of, say, getting their car fixed or something like that. Things where an employee would normally have to take paid time off to do, they're going to want to squeeze in on those days that they are not at the office. And so you may need to address your PTO policy to figure out, well, okay, you can squeeze out an hour or two here to take your car into work or go to the doctor's or something along those lines, so long as you're doing it on your day that you're working remotely. So you're going to have to figure out some of those ideas as well. In general, you may want to start thinking about PTO policies as a whole. And how are you going to go about managing that PTO? Because if there's going to be people who are going to be working from home and they have a Friday or a Monday off, You might be looking at people trying to squeeze that 3-day weekend in there, leaving a little bit early, something along those lines. So you're going to have to try and manage that aspect as well. Now, there are employers out there who basically say, we don't have paid time off. We expect you to get your work done. We don't care when you do your work, just get it done by the deadlines, and I don't really care. If you want to take 4 hours in the morning to sit in the hot tub, be my guest, but you still have to make that 5 o'clock deadline. It's another way of looking at your paid time off or your time off policies for employees. It's not the easiest thing to manage, I'll admit, but you'd be surprised how people acknowledge their obligations to get things done. So there's a number of things that I suspect that are going to change as we move forward into the future and a new normal arises. And one of those is going to be how you deal with employees who can and have been working remotely. If you want to give us a call, schedule a time, we can do some brainstorming, we can start working these problems so that you can have some sort of ideas and options. It's what we do is we provide some of those options that you can engage in. Just be mindful, practice a little social distancing while you're out there today. Make sure you're washing your hands, be safe, keep your chin up. We're going to get through this, and I'll talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.